And we're back with another George Talks. And this talk is specifically geared towards our young adults and college students and, those of us who aren't in relationships but are in situationships and the infamous gray area. Because in college, you're given so many different opportunities to connect with people that sometimes you struggle to define your relationships and understand your relationships. And we end up in these situations where there are feelings involved and where there are time commitments involved and bonds involved, and we get confused. So, I'm just going to provide a little bit of clarity in that and try to help us navigate and understand the situationships and the infamous gray area. To start out this conversation, I'm going to give you a quote from one of my real, older homie friends. And I was like, yo, how do I get out of the gray area? It's so confusing. The situationship, what's going on? And he said straightforward, when it comes to your relationships, you don't let it get in the gray area. You don't let what you're interacting in become undefined. Because when you have it undefined, there is no place to move from or grow from because there is no actual establishment of what it is in the first place. So, examples of this in the college scene are, your come through text. Who always comes through and is somehow always available? And you hang out enough times and you're confused as to why you enjoy your company with that person. That's one type of situationship. You have your, I don't know how it happened, but we hooked up person. That's also another type of situationship where something or another, feelings were caught, or horniness was caught, and all of a sudden y'all had a thing going on and there were no definitions afterwards. And then you have the infamous relationship situationship where you and another person are basically in a relationship, acting like a relationship, but somewhere along the line, somebody in their past hurt them, or there's something going on with them or with you that's an impediment to that relationship. And in these different types of situationships and all the ones that, I haven't mentioned that you're dealing with, you have to remember that with truth comes clarity. And as you build relationships, I'm challenging you to be honest with 1, how you feel, 2, how your feelings are expressed, and 3, if your feelings aren't expressed, practice expressing them and showing how you feel. Because a lot of times we feel trapped by labels and titles and hold ourselves back from being who we are because we get insecure on the lack of definition in a relationship. And the only way we can move forward from that is by seeking to define the relationship we're engaging in and further becoming more comfortable and more confident in our truth. So how do you do that, one might say? By, at the very beginning, learning how to be alone and isolate how you feel. Because if you engage in a situationship and never give yourself time to reflect on what's going on, you're not going to know how you feel. You're only going to know how you feel in response to the other person around you. So that's number 1. Number 2, I recommend this highly, write out what you feel. Because sometimes we feel so many things that we don't know how to adequately understand those feelings. So we need to write them down so you can see them on paper, and in that verbal and written understanding, we're able to understand what all of these things that we can't qualify and can't classify sound like, feel like, and deal with them. Sometimes you may think you like somebody, but you love them. And you only understood that when you wrote about how passionate you are about them and their success. Sometimes you may think you like somebody, but you're just infatuated with the fact that they validate you and give you attention. All of these kinds of understandings are going to come with that clarity and that honesty and that truth. And as human beings, we're naturally self-deceptive. It's a TED Talk I recommend you watch about self-deception and how we apply different realities that may not actually be real to make ourselves feel better. Oh no, he or she just doesn't know what she wants. Or oh no, he or she is just, not ready for a relationship yet. Well, guess what? If he or she isn't ready and you are ready, you have to be honest about the fact that your relationship is going to be stagnant because you're at an impasse of progress. And if you keep engaging in something when you want more from it, aka the girls or guys who just stick to the gray area because it feels good, or maybe they got an orgasm from it, don't do that to yourself. Because you owe it to yourself to be honest and to that person. Because when you're honest about the fact that, hey, guess what? I may have fallen in love. Or hey, guess what? I like you and it hurts that you don't like me. Or hey, guess what? I don't like you and I'm sorry you think that. It makes it so much easier to move forward from it. So, this George Talks is kind of a transition series. And it's just helping you understand, when you're in those transition periods in between relationships, understanding the different types of situationships and gray area situations that you need to understand so you can move from. Again, I'll say the quote that I really think describes this. With truth comes clarity. The more honest you are about your relationship, the more progress you will have in that. Because as my boy said, don't let it get into a gray area that you don't understand and can't define. It's George Talks. I'm George.